Just kidding. All right, hi everyone. So this is going to be 2.1, and we already, is that a word? Already? We already watched these video notes with these notes to fill in, and we did these examples here. So now we're working on factor by grouping. Say factor by grouping. You may have had a teacher show you factor by grouping for quadratics, where you have an x squared, and that's cool. We're going to use it for cubics and maybe an x to the fourth, not in this example, but that's okay. So factor by grouping, there's a series of steps. In these steps, it's a method. Anytime you have steps, you're going to need your notes because you're not going to memorize all the steps on the first try. All right, it's not like I could just show you one time and you're like, oh, I got it. We're going to refer to these. So ready? Step 1, order the terms from greatest to least, greatest to least degree. Degree is your exponent, your highest exponent, or highest power. All right? And I think all of these are, you tell me, what about our examples? Are they all in order? Yeah, they're already. Okay, so I wrote down example 2A on a piece of lined paper, and you should too. So here's the first step. From the first two terms, factor out a greatest common factor. So this is silly. We're not going to there's not a common factor in all of the terms, only in the first two. Some teachers like to put parentheses around them. To me, it's a little confusing, but I might color code here. I might do this. I might say, okay, I like to underline. So in, oh my gosh, I'm having color ADD. I can't think of what color to use. So from the first two terms, hi, we're back. What's the greatest common factor? What's in both of these? And in addition to 1, what's the x's? X squared. So we're going to have an x squared. And every time you take out a greatest common factor, you write it in front with no parentheses, and then you open a parenthesis behind it. So if we factor out a greatest common factor, if we factor out x squared from 2x cubed, what's going to go here? 2x plus x squared times what is 3x squared? 3. Okay. From the first two terms, factor out the greatest common factor. I did that. From the second two terms, factor out a greatest common factor. Okay, so from minus 8x minus 12, what's the greatest common factor there? Okay, but what else? Well, we're going to factor out the positive or the negative? The negative, yeah. So minus 4. So we had this closed parenthesis, then we do minus 4 parenthesis. Negative 4 times what is negative 8x? 2x, and negative 4 times what is negative 12? Plus 3. What do you notice? What do you notice? It's the same thing inside the parenthesis. It will be like that every single time. Every single time. So if it's not like that, you did something wrong. Okay? Step 2 should produce two different groups that now share a greatest common factor. We have a new common factor. 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. Watch. So our new greatest common factor is 2x plus 3. This is kind of the silly part where students think I'm doing magic, but I'm not. Okay. 2x plus 3 is actually going to be factored out of both of these terms, the blue term and the red term. I'm factoring it out in front. And then I'm going to close, I'm doing another parenthesis. Now, if I took out 2x plus 3 from the blue group, what's left in the blue factor? X squared. And if I took out 2x plus 3 from the red group, what's left there? Okay. So do you see how we had 2x plus 3 twice, and now we only have it once? So we factored it out of the two terms. That's factored by grouping. Okay, but we're not done because we have an x squared minus 4. So can that be factored some more? Yes. Let's see here. If either factor from step 3 can be further factored, then do so. Oh, those are instructions. All right, how do we factor x squared minus 4? What's the name of this factoring? The name. Is it a sum or difference? It's a difference, and how many are there? 2. So it's a difference of 2. What? And what are these? They're squares. So difference of 2 squares factors a plus b, a minus b. So x plus 2, x minus 2. And then you're done. Do you see how we have 3 factors? 1, 2, 3, and we started with an x cubed? We're going to... All right, I think I can fit b here. So let's write down b. Okay, go and read your steps. The steps say, or the terms from least to greatest, check. From the first 2 terms, factor out a greatest common factor. My blue is running out. Let's see if, I don't know. I'm out of colors. Let's go with a light pink, I guess. Okay, so light pink, in the first 2 terms, what's the greatest common factor? X squared. Good. So we have x squared. What will go in the parentheses? 2x plus 1. What happens? Yeah, when we factor out everything, there's a 1 left. Okay. Now what do you do? Look at your notes. Look at the factor, greatest common factor out of the back 2. But if there's a negative, a leading negative, you factor that out also. So it'd be minus 9 and here. Okay. Negative 9 times what is negative 18x? 2x, and negative 9 times what is negative 9? Plus 1. Did you get the same thing? Yes, that's how you note it. You did it correctly. If you didn't get the same thing, maybe you need to rearrange the terms up here, or maybe it can't be factored. And then that's really frustrating because you kept trying and trying and trying. But so, is everything factorable? Nope. All right, what do we do next? Did we produce a common factor? Everyone say, write it in front. So the 2x plus 1 just goes in the front. And what's left? What are the leftovers? Can this be factored some more? Yeah? Okay, how? How can it be factored some more? Very good, very good. And that's it. Some more. Yeah, do you like s'mores? I love s'mores. Have you ever had s'mores, but instead of putting Hershey chocolate, you put like a Reese's peanut butter cup? So good. Okay, here's another thing to try the next time you go camping. The next thing to try, instead of using a graham cracker and chocolate, is use an Oreo. So you roast a marshmallow, and you take the Oreo apart, and you eat the Oreo. So good. Pinterest. Okay, if you've never been camping, listen to my story. If you've never been camping, in college, there's probably a camping club or an adventure club. So when I was in college, I joined an adventure club, and I went camping on the weekends. Is that cool? And I went to a buffalo or bison. What's the difference? I think they're bison. I went to a bison reserve in Oklahoma, and I saw thousands of bison. It was amazing. No, we had to stay far away. What's the greatest common factor in the front? All right, what would be in the parentheses there? Okay. Don't be scared about simple things like this. You can always factor out, do you see negatives? So you can always factor out a -1 and actually put the 1 there. You may not have done that in the past, but it's easier if you do today. Like I said, you may or may not have had teachers do this before, so this may or may not look familiar. Okay, what do we do with the one that's the same? Put it in the front. And what's going to go in the back factor? Okay. Can x squared minus 1 be factored some more? It is a difference of 2 squares. 1 is a square. What's the square root of 1? Okay, so how does this go? That's it. Okay, I want you to try D. So if you're watching the video, pause the video. Pause the video. If you watch me do a bunch, that's not learning. You need to practice. So try D on your own. All right, greatest common factor in the front, 4x squared, and that would leave x minus 4. And, okay, what did I say? I said it over here. I said, don't be scared if you have nothing to factor out, because you can always factor out what? Okay, but if it's going to be a -1, because the negative is in the front. Did you get the same factor? Yes. Okay, if you don't get the same factor, don't give up. Don't start crying. Find a teacher, okay, or find someone else. Compare your work. But some of them can't be factored, you guys, and that's okay. All right, what's happened every time we've had a difference of 2 squares? Is this also a difference of 2 squares? Yes, it is. And square root of 4x squared, square root, 2x. We have 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. All right, thanks for watching. Factor by grouping. You're going to have to do a practice assignment on this, so it's not just notes. Find the practice assignment.